Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Fewer Gamer Mom, and as you might have seen in my previous videos, we are playing the game of Cities Skylines II, and we are building in the city of Springville. And today we will make a huge expansion to the city, and hopefully, as you have seen in my previous videos, we will continue with the flowy, leafy structure of the city and not end up in the grids. In the previous episode, we left off with a mess of connection to the highway, which I have edited off camera. And I'm quite happy with the layout now. And I'm actually looking into some tweaking of the traffic situation, upgrading some of the roads, and that results in me having to move some of the structures that I have placed down before, much to the annoyment of the people of Springville. Lots of booing when I remove stuff, and lots of cheering when I later on will add them back into the game. And that is how it goes when I don't plan ahead. And when you play City Skylines 2 without a plan, you sometimes have to make the people boo you some, and sometimes you will make them cheer you when you place down the same thing that you just removed. So that's how it goes. And also having to move some of these structures, like the cemetery, as I have to make the roads bigger, and when I have to upgrade roads, I need more space, and yeah, that's part of the evolvement of the city right now, and yeah, having a look at the new connection to the highway, I think I managed something here, or I managed a thing. I left the other episode off by saying it's something of a mess. I think it's a thing now, not something of a mess, but maybe it still is a mess, but not just a mess. Yeah. And also preparing some development in the area where there is a lot of commercial and residential buildings put all together, just to make sure that the city evolves in all of the directions of the map we are on right now. And as you can see, I have played some of recording, trying to speed up the development and the growth of the city, just so that we can evolve further into the game. And I would also like to say that looking at it from when I look at the recordings and make the videos, I see that although I haven't got a plan when I start the game, when I do the tweaking and the city evolves, it it kind of structures up as the game uh, it continues to play along, and that's quite fun to see that although I'm constantly saying that I'm not a planner, there probably somewhere in my subconscious mind there is a plan with what I'm doing, and maybe not all the time, but most of the time I realize that I have to move stuff around afterwards. So I'm not that afraid of doing that either when it comes to changing the layout of the city. But as you can see here, I've spent quite a lot of time off camera trying to make the leafy, palmy, bendy, curvy roads. And it's quite a large area of the map right now that I'm trying to make into this district or neighborhood that will have lots and lots of people living in it. and that there will also, in between all the houses that I'm making, be some commercial placement, and maybe also there will be some new schools placed down to make sure that the kids don't have to travel as far to get to school. And yeah, I'm still spending quite a lot of time, or a huge amount of time, placing down the single housing placements, just so I can have some more control over how the city will look. And I don't know, other players, when they, if they even make the leafy, bendy, curvy, palmy roads, do you place down the roads and then just fill in the areas around the roads where you can have residential buildings? Do you just fill them in, and does it look as natural as I feel it does when I place down the exact placement of the houses I want? I don't know. I feel them. I feel confused about this because it takes a lot of time, but I feel like it looks more natural than if I just in a big blob of available space to place down residential zones would just green it all out and make the houses plop in as they want. Because I feel like that would give them more freedom, and they will probably build the big, big, big houses where they would just have to move out because they can't afford to pay for the rent. And I don't know, do you guys have any comments on how you do when you build the bendy, leafy roads? How do you do it? And is there a more efficient way to do the the things I'm doing now? Please, if you have any suggestions, just come with them. Throw them at me. Because it is a lot of placing squares, and as you can see, I have made roads in a pretty large part of the map right now, and I feel like there might be a better way of doing this, but will it look as, I would like to say, good, but maybe it doesn't look good in your eyes. But in my eyes, it looks good when I do it like this. But is there another way to do this? Because it will take me for hours to get this done, and the demand of the city, or the demand of the loved residential buildings, is quite high. And I'm not uh, going to go to the grid patterns because I feel like, although it makes the city more structured and maybe it's easier to place down the other features of the town when you have the grid patterns and you have the squares, it doesn't necessarily make my cities look as good as I feel they do when I do this leafy. It's actually looking like a tree, I think, or a tree growing in the forest, or a palm, as I have said before. It I like that dynamic at this point, and later on there will be more squares and grids and patterns, or not patterns, but grids, because then I will have the higher zoning residential buildings and offices and commercial buildings that I feel fits better in the grid pattern. So yeah, I'm confused. Is there a better way to do what I'm spending hours and hours on doing? Or is this the way that is most efficient when it comes to this way of making a district or a neighborhood or a big residential area? But yeah, give me a comment if you have any suggestions on other ways of doing this. And I will maybe try to start a city with your suggestions and see if it evolves in another way than my normal cities will evolve. But here we are reaching the next milestone. It's a boom town. We're receiving some more development points and some more map tiles to unlock and make the city grow. But as I'm still continuing the placement of the housing squares, I like to call them that, I will have to look into what we just unlocked at a later point because when I'm into the zone of zoning down the squares of residential buildings, I can't be bothered to look at other things than just getting through the development of this district. But yeah, I think it looks good, and you see the demand is high for these buildings, so they are popping up quite fast. And if we zoom out and then just relax from the placement of the squares, it kind of looks quite good. I think it is like a tree with branches, and the city is branching out in all of its beauty into a larger city. And it's a boom town. I feel like I would like to move into these green lush areas of the city and just enjoy my life here. That would be good. And also just looking at the what is right now the center of the town with the larger apartment buildings and the more commercial zonings. I feel like it's coming along quite good and trying to place down some more commercial buildings just to fulfill the demand that is rising for them. And also thinking some about how to connect the branches or the wavy part of the city to the grid pattern. I think I often feel like that is a issue on how to make it look pretty. And yeah, and as we advanced into Boomtown, we received 6 development points, which I'm spending on some random stuff. Sometimes I save them, sometimes I just spend them on things I know that I will be placing down soon, like the recycling plant and also the water treatment plant and the university, just to get rid of all the confusion, maybe. So yeah, it it's fun when the game evolves like this and you see that you reach new levels of the game. And there is a high demand for industrial areas in the city, but I'm trying not to think too much about it because I kind of want the population to have a higher educated level before I place down more of the industrial buildings. But I guess I will have to do something about that area soon so they don't end up being without money and without workplaces. And then there's quite a long commute to the areas, so I will also have to look into the bus options and also on how to make the roads that is in the city uh, be more efficient and also put down other roads that will lead into the industrial area. But that will be a problem we will have to look into later on. But placing down the university here, probably have to move it later, maybe not. And looking at the industrial area some just to take a look, because as the city is getting bigger, there are a few of the issues that are popping up, like the long commute for the ambulance. If somebody gets hurt, like somebody has been here, the ambulance has to drive quite far to reach the person, and we will have to also look into that after a while, I think. But right now, it seems like although the roads are quite bumpy and not leveled out, it will be a bumpy ride for the person who is injured. But it's not a big issue at this point, I think. But it will be at some point, maybe, or not maybe, it will be. But the issue I will tackle at once is the power situation, because there is a red alert above the power plant or the coal plant. So I will have to just place down another one just at this point of the game. I will delete that one later probably, but and it's not strategically good to place it this close to the other one, but as I have spoken about before, it pollutes the ground so much that I want to keep them close. And yeah, it will be a bottleneck situation where the power has issues going into the city because of the roads carrying the electricity being just right now it's one or two roads carrying the electricity to the other side. So yeah, but this fixes the situation right now, and that's good. Actually spending quite a lot of money in this episode because I placed down the university, which is kind of not necessary, and I placed down the power plant. And luckily, the money is going up because right now I'm below 1 million in the funds, and that's not a place where I like to be. I like to have at least 1 million available when I play, so I don't get into a situation. So it's quite necessary that I make more people come to my city and make the city attractive to people considering moving into the city, so that they can pay more taxes and that I can earn more money, because the the buildings that are being placed down right now is quite expensive. And they cost a lot each month also. So I like to have a good amount of money in the bank, I would say. Yeah. And I have also placed down another elementary school for the kids to go to school, and also adding some of the extras you can add to them, like the playground and the it's the children's medical something building where they can go if they have a headache or sick. So trying to make this area a nice area for people to live in, and yeah, I feel like the schools in these kind of areas should be quite nice with all the extras added to them, and maybe the other school which I placed down, which is in the older part of town, that one is not uh, that equipped with lots of things. And actually quite funny because my kids yesterday they started a newly built school with lots and lots of new uh, playgrounds and new equipment, and they were just so excited this morning or and yesterday morning when they had their first day. They were kind of like, what's happening? And today my kids were like, okay, let's go to school now, and they wanted to stay as long as they could in the area because it really matters to them that the school area is a nice one. So that's probably also why I'm putting down a few extra things in this area because it kind of reminds me of my own neighborhood and district of where I live. So yeah, again, bringing some of my life into the game. That's good. And also expanding this to hold more people, placing down the green squares again. Lots and lots of green squares to make people move into the city, and so that I can earn back some of the money I have spent on the nice places for the people to both educate themselves and to receive electricity from. And it's actually good to give them a lot of possibility to educate themselves because you can make them pay more tax if they are highly educated. The highly educated are you can make the tax percentage that they pay out of their earnings higher, and that means more money for me to evolve the city and develop the city. So that's good. But in these small houses or large houses, there aren't a lot of people living. So to in the entrance of this branch or three or yeah, this district, I placed down some of the row houses again because they hold a lot more people in a smaller area, so that the population can increase. And I feel like it's also kind of a nice entrance to this area that they are driving through the row houses when they go into their little boxes of houses that are placed down further in to this branchy leafy place. I think I will have to get into districts soon because then I can name them. And maybe this is the branchy leafy area. I think I will have to figure out nice names for the areas also. But right now, the money is actually going down, and that is kind of scaring me because as I told you, I don't like being below a million. Right now, I'm at 500,000, and it's probably because I have placed down a lot of unnecessary places like the university and the college quite early in the game. But I will have to look into what I'm doing and what I'm giving away to the people at too low cost because I want them to have the options to go to college and to go to school nearby and to have electricity. They have to have electricity, but I will have to look into that because we can't be losing money at a high pace at this point when the city is not having a lot of money in the bank right now. So that's quite not good, I would say. But also placing down more residential areas and places where people can move into, as I said, will give me more money because there is more people paying taxes. So it's not a long time red situation in the economic department, but it's as you can see, it goes back to green quite fast. But as I'm putting down more and more and more places for people to move into, but it's I don't think it's a stable situation. I think it will go up and down quite regularly in this stage of the game. But yeah, this also proves that I have to have the population rising quite fast and quite at a stable pace because the buildings in the city is costing a lot more to keep up. So yeah, that's also a situation which has to be handled there's quite a lot of situation that has to be handled in the game right now. But that is what makes the game fun. If not, there would just be placing down green squares to make houses, and placing down blue squares to make shops, and placing down the purple and the yellow ones to make the offices and the industry, and that would not be fun. So it's fun, although I'm complaining about it. I'm not really complaining that much, but I'm just putting a spotlight on the issues that is happening in the city right now. But as I am now finishing up the placement of the green squares and the buildings, I try to mix and match, or not match, but mix the row houses and the low demand residential buildings and the commercial. It I like it. It's a beauty, I think, yeah, or it's not a beauty, but it's a nice area of the city. I like how the city is evolving, and I like how the structure of this district has turned out, because it gives me a place to continue developing the city in more directions than it did in the beginning, and that is fun to watch and fun to play when you get it the way you want it to be. But there's still the issue of how to connect this one to the other parts of the city, as this area now only has a few roads leading into it. There will be lots of traffic, and that will bother the people living in this area. So we have also here a few issues to figure out. But first of all, I think I will try to connect the city with the already existing part of the city, the downtown, the center of the city, and try to not make the squares go directly into the wavy, bendy, palmy area, but try to make it kind of curvy and kind of straight. It's hard to figure out exactly how to make the transition between this area and the area which is more high density, and trying to make it look good from both sides, because in my head there would be a different taste of the environment for the people living in the higher density areas than the people choosing to live in the more remote areas, or not remote, but the areas that are more green and lush and spacious. So it's kind of hard trying to fit them together or tie them together in a good way, I think. But I feel I kind of figured out a good solution with the higher density and the commercial district, and some bendy road and some straight roads here. And as we are closing in on that 5,000 mark, where we have 5,000 people living in our city, I think I will end this episode here. And I would like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Please let me know if there is any answers to the questions that I have asked you earlier in this episode, and also please let me know if there is any suggestions on names for the districts that I will be placing down later on. And I hope you have a good day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.